Question, if I may. I know this is a safe place, so has anybody ever had a recurring dream?
Yes.
You know, the type that kind of replays sometimes multiple times in a week? Well, growing up, most of my life, I've had one particular recurring dream, and it went just like this. I'm seated in the living room floor of my childhood home, looking like I'm 3 or 4 years old, and there's a loud knock on the door. And while I'm watching Wizard of Oz on the TV screen in front of me, my attention shifts to the knock on the door. My mom opens the door, and standing there are 2 gentlemen wearing business suits. And I could just tell, even in the dream, that these are just 2 big meanie heads. They step inside the house with their platform shoes on our delicate Persian rug, and they give me this stern look. And I'm just watching Dorothy meet the Tin Man, but these 2 meanie heads walk over, past me, over to the TV, they unplug it from the wall, and they carry it out of the house. And in my 3 or 4-year-old freak out phase, I'm yelling, how could you let him do that? I was watching that. And my mom is just standing there bawling her eyes out. The door slams shut, and that's when I wake up. And I would wake up at the exact same moment every time in this dream, for whatever reason. Now, it's important for me to tell you that I come from a huge family, and we're very close. In fact, we have these huge family reunions every year in Israel. That's where we're from, and that's where my dad moved my mom and I to the States from when I was 6 years old. Now, I actually never really understood why we had this sudden move from Israel to Los Angeles, and I'd always want to investigate this. But in my mind, as a 6-year-old kid, we had it pretty nice. So why the sudden move? I mean, in my mind, we had a 2-story house, a big loving family, and an endless amount of Legos. Seriously, when my parents told me that we were moving to America, the only thing I was worried about, it wasn't who am I going to make friends with and how am I going to learn this new language. It was, how are we going to get all of my Legos over there? I've got like 3 or 4 suitcases that I need to fill up with Legos right now. Seriously, I had a lot of Legos. And as a 6-year-old kid, that's how you measure success. But for my dad, I guess there was something missing. Now let me tell you about my badass dad. My dad is a carpenter with a mustache and a ponytail. In fact, he's like a Superman to me, and instead of an S on his chest and a big red cape, he's got a ponytail and a mustache. Now, to prove to you that this guy is a real-life action superhero, I will share with you my very vivid memory of the 1994 Northridge earthquake. And I don't know if you recall that earthquake here in LA, but it was a magnitude of 6.7, and it only lasted 20 seconds. We were living in Reseda, California, maybe 3 miles away from the epicenter, and I was 10 years old. And what I remember is my father, the real-life Superman, flying into my bedroom, lifting me out of the bed, swinging me over his shoulder, and leaping down the stairs, which had both of the railings latched off. And in pitch black darkness, after slamming his leg into a TV that had fallen on the floor, he somehow manages to gracefully place me on a patch of grass in the backyard, throw me a tent to build, and somehow run back in to get my brother. This is how much he exudes manliness, okay? I've never even seen my dad without a mustache and a ponytail. Now, every year I would go to these reunions, and as I got older, I would investigate a little further as to why the move, especially when I would go without my parents. I would have a chance to get to know my cousins and my uncles out there. And my dad's side, they're all manly guys. So I got close to one of my uncles, Ari. Uncle Ari is kind of like a wild card. And he invited me to his bar. So I figured this was an opportune moment to get a little loose with Uncle Ari and do some digging. So we were a few beers in, and sure enough, we start talking about my dad. And he's opening up to me. He's telling me, you know what, I think your dad just had enough of the bullshit. He was in a bit of a bind, and I think it all came to a head when those bill collectors came to your house and took your TV. That's when my heart stopped, my jaw dropped, and 2 important realizations came to me. One was, holy shit, that wasn't a dream. I guess it was a vivid memory that had seeped into my dream somehow. But two, it was that my dad was not Superman, and somehow that's a huge relief, you know? The fact that he was able to like uproot our family here in the States with nothing more than $100 in his pocket, and those were not superpowers. Like, he just did that as a human being. It looked like just kind of like took his ponytail and mustache away, and I just saw him as a man. And to me, that just helps me comfortably know that A, you don't have to be a Superman to just be a man, and B, hopefully I could be a Superman to my kids someday, even though I can't grow a ponytail or a mustache.
Yeah!